Yo, what up people, this is the NSK and today we're going to be diving into some C# programming. So in the last video we downloaded Visual Studio and then we created our first project. This is our first project, but this project doesn't do anything. This program doesn't do anything at the moment. So now let me start by explaining what is it we see here. On the top section here we have our imports. These are the libraries that are needed for running this program, and then this is the namespace, the name of the project, the entire project, what we called it Hello World. So this is that. And what you need to know is when you code within these curly braces in this block. Everything you write needs to be inside a class. Just make sure that every bit of code that you write, it needs to be inside a class, unless if it's an import or you're creating another class. And for your code to execute, it needs to be inside a main method. This is the main method. If you don't type anything within the main method, nothing will happen. All our code needs to be typed in here or referenced in here so that it can be executed. So now let's start off with simple variables, right? So variables are like containers. They store stuff for us. They store words, they store numbers, they store specific type of data. So the first variable we're going to be doing is the string variable. A string variable is text. Anything that is text, like a name, a color, or anything like that, it's a string. So how you declare and how you initiate a variable is you need to type the data type first. The data type is like a set of rules of what type of information a variable can store. So now for the data type, since we're making a string, you're just gonna type string. That's the first thing you type. We are declaring a variable. String, you're gonna give it a name. So we're gonna give it a name like my name. Let's just call it name. And then this is the declaration part. Now we're gonna assign. To assign, we use the equal sign. This is for assigning. And then on the right hand side, since it is it's text, you need to put these double inverted commas. I think that's what they're called. These double inverted commas over there. And then on the inside of these double inverted commas, that's where you're gonna type in your string. So I'm gonna type in my name, right? I'm gonna type it in there. So what these things do is they tell the machine that starting from here to here, this is a string. Do not read this as code. Do not read that as code. It's not code, it's string that is supposed to be read by a human. And just like any other sentence, you need to end it with a full stop. But in programming, we don't use a full stop to end stuff. We use a semicolon. Semicolon is like a full stop. And yeah, we have successfully declared our first variable. Cool. Now let us store our age within this variable. So to store a number, a whole number, we use an integer. We store it inside an integer type data type, right? So we don't write integer in full, instead we write int and then we give it a name. Remember, this name is the name of the container. So if you say age, then it's the name of the variable. Equals to is for assignment. It's not equals to like adding stuff. We don't do that here. Age, let me say I'm 45. I'm 45, and then I put a semicolon over there. And yeah, we've declared that. Now let's move on to the other data types. We have more than just these two, obviously. So now let's say we have to store a number that has decimal points, right? An int doesn't store numbers that have decimals. It only stores whole numbers. So now to store decimal numbers, we use a data type called the double, right? So we're gonna say double, and then here we're gonna give it a name of a name of I don't know. Let's say this is a game and everyone has health, and the health can be in decimal format. So let's say health is at 95.5% or something like that. That is how you store decimal numbers, using the double data type. And then now we're going to move on to another data type. This is a very special and unique data type. It's called a Boolean. A Boolean data type can only store two types of values. It can either store true or false. Yeah, it can either be true or false. And how you write the data type when declaring, you just write bool. Then we're going to give it a name here, and then we're just going to call it sample assignment operator. This equals to is called an assignment operator, and then let's say true over there. Boom. And that is how you declare variables in C#. But that's it for this video. In the next video, we will be using these variables and displaying them on our console. So please do stay tuned. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Away.